Hello everybody, welcome back to Automation. My name is Marcus. Today we'll be continuing our Let's Play of Consolidated Motor Cars Incorporated. Last episode we facelifted our two new models and introduced a hot hatch variant of the Mobilizer. Today what I want to do is expand into yet a third model by buying another large engine factory and car factory. And that's going to be the delivery trim that was promised last episode. So we'll dive right into that, and I think this is going to be another good revenue stream for us as a company. This will really have us be like turning into the money printing machine that I want us to be. So let's jump right in. Now for body selection, I think there's one body down here that I really want to use. It's this guy right here. Love, 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 love these cab over vans. They have so much like cargo volume for their wheelbase and size. They just make great like dedicated delivery vehicles. Oh, we could make it out of the fancy stuff, although I think it's a little expensive. We're not going to do that. It's going to be a light truck monocoque because the having the light truck monocoque, it's going to make it just a little bit cheaper, but it's still a small vehicle. So having the monocoque or the unibody up by the cab will help with the safety. But we will make it out of Galvy so it doesn't rust as much. I think for this one, we're actually going to go for a front longitudinal, revert back to that, because I'm going to make this rear-wheel drive with like a live axle back there. So we'll do struts up front and a solid axle with a leaf spring. Keep it very nice and simple back there. Throw a point of quality in as well. Now for the engine, what I think I'm going to do here is just use our existing 2.2 liter inline 4. And we probably don't even need to make another variant of it. Like, this already has a super low cam profile and also is very lean on the fuel mixture, so I think this will actually work perfectly. We can use the same exact variant for both cars. Let's see if there's any major upgrades to make in the engine. We'll probably just switch over to hypercast pistons. We don't really need variable valve timing, but we can squeeze another point of compression into it. We'll stick with NatAsp for now, still running multi-point EFI, of course. Maybe we can afford to put a couple points of quality in it now. Short cast. Oh, we can go over to high flow three-way for the cat, and it gives us a little bit more power. And efficiency, too. And I think we can just grab a little bit more compression out of there. Yep, that's perfect. Okay. Alright, that'll be our engine. We'll go on to the body trim now. We're going to select the delivery van, of course. I don't know, maybe we'll make like a passenger van down the line, although in my experience those don't sell quite as well as the cargo vans. I don't know. I feel like that would be like a family utility segment, but then the family utility segment has like the category penalty for the like panel van, so I'm not really sure what that's supposed to indicate, but I don't know, we'll see. In any case, we'll just start with the delivery model for now. I'm gonna, can make it very square. We're not gonna make it quite that square though. I wanna keep it a little bit round, a little bit bigger in the back. All right, that's kind of funny looking, but not too funny looking. As always, we'll come back and do the design later. So we are gonna go, we could do longitudinal front wheel drive if we wanted to. But I think we'll do rear wheel drive, advanced automatic, the utility segments and the delivery segments like that. Open diff, very, very simple here. Take our gearing up. We want nice wide spacing, maybe even an 80. We might even want to go more. We'll have to space those wheels too. Radial tires, hard long life. I think 175s are probably good. Can we bring the fenders out? Nah, not really. We don't really need to. I think 15-inch wheels are good. I think we should be able to fit the brakes we need in there. We'll go a little bit bigger on the tires. Yeah, 75 profiles, that seems about right for a delivery van. Space them out just a little bit. That looks good for the fronts. Rear can take a lot of spacing. Maybe even just one more? Yeah, that looks perfect. Okay. Very, very good. Solid discs in the front, we'll make them as big as we can. Drums in the back should be okay. We can upgrade them if we need to. Let's leave the pad type on 50 just for now. We might be able to get a little bit more out of it, or rather, we might be able to make them a little bit more comfortable, or we might need to make them a little bit stiffer, but we'll leave them balanced for now. Don't need an under tray, cooling airflow all the way up to 100, so that when this car is really under load and loaded down, the engine doesn't overheat. We might need to do some brake airflow too, but maybe not. We'll see. Basic interior with no entertainment. I'm pretty sure these guys like just 2 seats. Variable hydraulic steering. I do want to start rolling out ABS, but I feel like this is not the vehicle to do it on. At least not on this first trim, and we can certainly get away without it. So we're going to go no traction aids, standard safety, progressive springs. Oops, not hydropneumatic. That would be a funny vehicle, a cargo van with a hydropneumatic suspension. And just the basic stuff here. Let's, and our suspension tuning is a little bit firm. Let's soften it up. We can have a pretty firm suspension still on a delivery van. Okay. Looking good. Scoring very nicely right out of the gate. That's good. So for the gearing, I want to go for a pretty extreme spacing because I think that's what they like. Yeah, just all the way out. And then, oh wow, they don't even really like to have the gearing be taller. They just want the shortest gearing that there is to really, wow, that is a very low gear. You can pull a tree stump with this thing. Who needs a low range when you've got this? So let's take a look else through here, or what else is through here. Not too much else, really. We have some brake fade for utility, but it's not too bad, and I don't really think we need to make the brakes any more aggressive than they are. I think this might be our trim right here. Let's, oh, we can definitely take some sway bars out of it. Don't need any camber up front. We want to tune it for maximum drivability, and, you know, we certainly can afford to take some camber out of it. And then we will take rear sway bars. We might be able to get away with no rear sway bars at all. I think the live axle cars, at least the ones with the live axles in the rear, tend to like that. And then maybe just a little bit more ride height. That wouldn't hurt, right? Well, I guess it could hurt, looking at the score. That looks about right for a van. Okay. Let's see. I guess we can just grab that. 6 degrees roll angle. That's acceptable. I would like it actually to be a little bit bigger, but that's just fine. Okay. So now all that's left to do is the naming and the design. So for that, I'm going to throw something together, and I'll see you guys in just a minute. I've decided to call the van the Handyman, and the design I've got settled for is what could be called a 4-fixture wonder, I suppose, but it's a utility car, it's a van, it looks like a van, I'm not going to sweat it. Well, let's go through here and just go ahead and put it into production, or rather do our factory setup for it. We'll complete the design, and we are going to buy new factories for this. We're going to spend all of that money that we just saved up, and probably then some. We're going to, I think, ooh, where do we want to build it? Yeah, still cheapest just to buy the land here in Hedvasia. I think maybe we just stick with that. We're going to build it ooh, did I accidentally buy a huge plot? I think we don't need a huge plot. We just need a large plot. We're going to build it large right from the get-go, of course. Galvy plant and steel presses. Okay, just one trim. Automation, let's start it with maybe 65, tooling quality, 55. QA threshold, we'll have to lower that a little bit while our workforce is still learning how to make cars, I guess. Complete that design. Engineering, oh, look at that engineering time. That looks great. We'll be able to make this super, super reliable. So we'll crank the funding up. We'll drop some pressure out of it right down to 35. Automation slider, we do want to get a little bit more from that. We'll turn it up to a 60. Process, I'm going to make it just a little bit cheaper. We'll go for a 55, and then the rest of this we will dump into reliability for a 5-year engineering time. And wow, 83.6 reliability. That's pretty good. We'll revise our engine here. We are going to add another factory. Engine factory is going to be a large one. What I'll probably, or what I think I might wind up doing eventually, we're going to have both the medium engine factory and this large engine factory producing this 2.2 now, which is definitely more engines than we need. But I think what I'll wind up doing eventually, I probably won't do it this episode, is maybe producing like a V6 or something in that medium factory, because I'm pretty sure this large one will be able to supply both factories. If we made like a medium V6 or something in that medium factory for like a premium variant, or if we wanted to do a sports car, that might be kind of nice to have that extra engine in there. But in any case, let's go ahead and set up our tooling on this one, lower our QA, of course, and see what, I guess we're gonna produce it in the medium too. Leave this one as is. Do our engineering. We have plenty of breathing room here, so we'll take some pressure way out of it. We'll save a little bit of money because we have 60 months. Process, we can turn that up a little bit and make it things a little bit more automated as well. I guess that's what we'll do with the rest of our time budget. Wow, plenty of excess capacity. Okay, wow, the forecast is looking really, really strong. I'm really happy to see that. I think we're going to make a lot of money selling this car. Let's go ahead. We'll complete the design. $6.8 billion total cost. And we've got $3.6 billion saved up, but we're going to be making money selling our other two models while we're producing this. So I actually am inclined to not take much of a loan for this. I'm going to take this down to, well, actually, you know what? I want to, we'll hold off on doing the financing for it because I want to engineer our facelifts for our other two models, and then we'll kind of figure out the sign-off and the financing all at the same time then. So let's go back to the hub, and then we can start on facelifting our other models. Now what I'm going to do is jump into the 3rd generation Liberator. We're just going to make a real quick facelift here. Just drop in the updated engine that we used for the delivery van. It's just going to be the exact same thing. There it is, the E89 variant. And quick walk through here. Any upgrades we want to make? Well, I don't think so. Everything looks good. Looking good here still. How are our brakes? Brakes are great. Should we give it a basic cassette player? Let's look at the family segment. That's what we're targeting after all. Yeah, they like the basic cassette, so that's a minor upgrade we can make. Maybe, well, we're going to upgrade the safety, definitely. And maybe what might be worth it is just giving it the ABS. Yeah, this would be a good car for us to unveil ABS on. We're going to take a little bit of a reliability penalty, but it's not too bad, and we're down the line, like we're going to want to start getting some familiarity in this because we're going to put ABS on basically everything eventually, and a lot of our cars are going to need ESC when it comes out because the demographics, rather, they like that. So I think it's worth it to bite the bullet on this. We probably won't put it on the mobilizer, though, just to save a buck. Wait till we gain some familiarity in it. I think we just want to have a slightly stiffer sway bar, so get that roll angle a little bit more under control. And that's good. I think that's all we're going to do here. Now it's the turn of the mobilizer to get facelifted. Again, we're going to run through the budget hatch here, but I do think, even though we're not going to make a lot of major changes to the budget variant, I do think for the sport one, for the hot hatch, I am going to try slapping a turbo on that motor, see if we can get some more power out of it, because I do think that on the old one, like after test driving it, I think it could use a little bit more oomph. So what are we going to do here? Just a little bit of quality in the fuel system, I think. A little bit more compression. Yeah, looking good here. Not really too much to see. We're already on hypercast pistons. Oh, we can upgrade the cat. That's a nice upgrade as well. Okay. Let's see. I don't think we're going to be doing anything really in here either. And ladies and gentlemen, the time has finally come where we can give our budget car some audio. We can give it a radio. Look at that. Couple extra points, so, and a big boost to comfort as well. It almost doubles it, so that'll help. And it's time. This car will come out in the 90s, so I feel like, you know, even in the 90s, like a budget car, it should probably have at least some sort of radio, just a basic one. We'll upgrade the safety, of course. And, yeah, just a little bit stiffer sway bars, once again, to keep the roll angle under control. Yeah, 7.1, that's acceptable. We'll go with that. Okay, here it is, the Budget Hatch 89. Go ahead and name that one. Now for the Hot Hatch, where things are going to get really interesting because we're going to be doing a little bit of turbo tuning here for the first time this playthrough. So the alternative to doing a turbocharger would be upgrading to forged parts and then revving the nuts off of this engine, but that's going to require us to do a factory upgrade, which is going to increase our offline time for the factory, something I really don't want to do, and also it costs more, and I do think we'll be able to get more usable power out of a turbocharger. So let's have a look here. The first thing I'm going to do is actually lower the cam profile a little bit. Turbochargers seem to like it a little bit better with a slightly lower cam profile. We're still not going to be able to rev this thing very high. In fact, what's our limit on it? 6,300, so I guess we can get one more click out of it, another 100 RPM. We'll leave our fuel mixture, and we're actually not going to leave our fuel mixture. We're going to make it a little bit richer and switch over to a turbocharger. Of course, we have knocking, so we'll take some compression out of it just to reduce the knocking. We'll start with a performance preset, and then we'll tune from there. So 3,500 RPM. So it's going to be tough to get a low boost threshold with an engine this small. It's only 1.5 liters. So we're going to go for a pretty low pressure setup. I'm going to take it right down to 8, maybe 8.5 psi. I think that should be good. AR ratio, we'll leave that where it is. Let's get our flow bottleneck graph up here, and we'll make it a ball bearing turbo so the boost threshold is lower. So let's see, can unrestrict our exhaust a little bit, give it the oh, you know what we could do is we could give it the straight through muffler, because the turbo is going to make it a little bit quieter as well. So let's take a look. This is the graph here. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is, if I could get this down to like maybe just, I think 2,500 RPM is a little bit ambitious, but if I can get it below 3,000, I'll be happy. We can make the compressor a little bit smaller. That'll help. Yeah, that helps a lot, actually. And I'll sacrifice a little bit more power from the turbo to get the boost threshold just a tiny bit lower. Okay, so we're just a little bit choked on the turbo. It's really not too bad. But now we're clearing an easy 100 horsepower. It's almost 110 horsepower. That's going to motivate this car really nicely. And that's actually not bad power from a little tiny 1.5 liter engine. And I almost forgot, we still have even a little bit more compression to add back in. Boom, right up to 110. Perfect power for this car, I think. Let's go ahead and stick it in and see how that does for our performance. Oh yeah, 8.8 seconds. It's still not all that fast, but that's at least we're out of the double-digit territory that we were in with the old one, so I'll take it. Gearing, do we want higher gearing? I guess we can go a little bit higher, and maybe just like tighter spacing too. That'll help with the wheel spin. Yeah, that looks really attractive. We're not gonna pretty flat acceleration up there, so that looks okay. Should we give it a limited slip diff maybe? Oh yeah, I think we should. They do seem to like that. Helps with the sportiness and the drivability and reduces our wheel spin a little bit. Even takes a tenth off the 0 to 60 time. So yeah, we'll do that. Brakes are looking good. Not a lot of fade still to worry about. I don't think we need to make changes there. Nothing here. Should we give these guys a radio? Yeah, I think we should. The other thing, maybe we could take a look at giving this a different body. Like maybe this one could be in the low body. I'm not sure though. I kind of like the high body. It's sort of grown on me, the look of it, that kind of little boxy thing. I know it's maybe not perfect for a hot hatch conventionally, but I think we'll stick with it. Suspension tuning. Actually, I don't think we need to make... Well, that roll angle's a little bit aggressive. We'll give it slightly stiffer sway bars just to bring that into check a little bit. Wow, we gained a lot of weight this time. Maybe from a more powerful engine. I'm not sure. We're going to upgrade the safety as well. What should we do here about this? Should we give it slightly bigger tires? Or what about, do they want sports compound? Yeah. Well, that kind of porks the handling a little bit. But let's see what we can do with this. Yeah, so with the sports compound and slightly wider tires, what I was able to do is straighten this line back out. It was kind of doing that thing earlier where this end of it gets kind of rounded, and that indicates that the car is going to fade into understeer pretty quickly. And there's going to be a lot of variation. Like, it's not going to be very predictable at different speeds. I want this line to look nice and straight and kind of shoot right up the middle of these two lines and then drop right down, and that's closer to what we have here. I'd still like to get a little bit more sportiness out of it, but I don't think we're going to get it without going for bigger tires in the front and in the back, which is going to cause us some penalties, I believe. So in terms of brakes, for the added grip, I've had to make some adjustments. We're having some brake force warnings, but I mean, I think it's okay. I had to spring for 2 pistons in the front, but I think that'll be just fine. And we did also, to counter some of that understeer and help straighten out that line, we stiffened things up in the back a little bit more relative to the front and had to control the roll angle too. So I think that's going to be... Should we pop a point of quality into the suspension maybe? Nah, I don't think so. All right, let's just take this thing for a lap around the test track, in-game of course, and see what it does. It has a really good weight distribution, actually, for a front-engine, front-wheel drive car. Okay, wow, a 236, so it's a lot faster than the old one, which was like a 250? 236, that's actually like, it's not a super fast time, but that's a respectably quick time. This car is going to corner really, really well, I think. So let's go ahead, well, fix our name. This is the Hot Hatch 89. We'll do a quick export on it, sign her off. Factory tooling time. Only change we're going to make here is just upping our QA slightly. I think we're good for capacity on these cars, so we'll complete that. Engineering time, 56, pretty reasonable. Let's go right for that round 60-month figure. And we can do that just by tweaking a couple of these, eking a couple more points of reliability out. We'll give the engine its facelift, producing it in the large factory. No changes necessary here, I think. Yep, looking good. Engineering time, well, we've got a little bit to burn here, which is just as well because we've got a little catching up to do on our automation and process sliders. But we'll use our, we can get some reliability in it too and drop a little bit of pressure out as well. Perfect. Yeah, even our turbo model, last time I was worried about the reliability, but I think this will be okay. That's still not bad for a turbo motor, so I think it'll be right. And it's not across our whole lineup, it's only on this sport model, which I think we're going to sell fewer of compared to our budget trims, and certainly our delivery vehicle is going to be super reliable. That's going to help buff our reputation a lot, I think. Okay, let's go ahead and sign these off. Okay, financing time. Our total cost is $7.7 billion. We have $3.6 billion, just under half of what we need, but most of that cost is coming from the handyman project, specifically building those 2 large factories. And we'll be making money off of our existing cars, quite a bit actually, while we're paying for that, so we don't have to borrow for the full amount. What I'm thinking we'll do is borrow for maybe 35% of it. We'll take our monthly payment out to, I don't know, 82 months. That's pretty reasonable. And 84 months, there we go. Now it's a multiple of 12. Let's actually only borrow 30. We'll be a little bit more aggressive about it. And then we'll just trust that we'll make the money between now and then to make up that difference. I'd really like to not take on an amount of debt that's too excessive. So, and this is what? That's 7 years of, or no, 8 years, sorry, of repayment time, 84 months. That's reasonable. So let's go ahead and let's sign all of these off. I want to take a quick look at my tech before I unpause the game, though, see if there's anywhere we can save money or if there's any techs that we want to rush. I did drop a couple of points out of drivetrain. We were still running it at +4 to unlock the advanced automatic, which I'm glad we did, but we don't need it anymore. The only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pop 1 more point into chassis, 1 more point into fuel system, and then I did put 2 into driver assist as well because I think it'll be nice to unlock that electric steering. That's a good thing for budget cars. It helps us get more fuel economy, and it's, I think, a little bit more reliable as well. So definitely something useful to have. I've cranked the speed multiplier up to 5x. Let's unpause the game and see how these new models go on sale. I've slowed it down now just a little bit. We're about to release our new models. We just ran out of stock of our old ones, so we're in the negative just for a click or two here. We are also coming off a period of massive economic expansion, and we just started investing in dealerships in Arcana, which got unlocked 4 years ago into Lua as well. So giving us some more markets to sell even more cars into. I'm excited to see how these go and see what our margins are, especially on our delivery van, because that's usually a cash cow for me. All right, scores are all looking good. Let's just run for a tick or two. Our cargo van is selling super well. We're not making the markup on it just yet, but that's because we have no familiarity in it. But with something that's this competitive, scoring 224, dominating the segment, and we're maxing out our factory capacity, our awareness is going to be growing really fast in that segment, and pretty soon we'll be charging a very healthy markup on these 12,000 units we're selling. The family sedan is still selling well. We're still maxing out our factory and taking a comfortable markup, but it's not quite as strong as the previous trim. I think this one is due for a redesign. However, our mobilizer is still selling fantastically well, even at these large markups, especially the budget trim, and the hot hatch is doing okay too. It's not super competitive with the markup that's on it, but still selling a healthy profit. I really like the way that this graph looks. We're having a nice diversified revenue stream. Our expenses are under control. We're paying some taxes, but that's okay. That's going to wrap it up for the automation segment of today's Let's Play. I'm going to export the cargo van and the new turbocharged hot hatch into Beamng.Drive. We'll take them for a test spin, and I'll see you guys over there. Starting off in Beam with the handyman van, I just want to take it for a spin around Small Island. We'll see how it handles. Wow, that is a very short first gear. So let's just stop and take off from a start again. It rips through it almost instantly. This van is not all that nice to drive. I mean, that's not really what it's made for. It's made as a utility vehicle, but it just doesn't really like to corner. It doesn't have a lot of grip. It tends to go out under braking. The gearing is very short and very widely spaced, which is great for towing heavy loads and, you know, especially if you're starting uphill from a stop or something like that, but not that nice for the spirited driving experience, and it just really plows around corners. It doesn't have all that much braking power or grip. The transmission sometimes will kick it down into a low gear when you're not expecting it, and it'll send the tail out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's a van. I really just wanted to test drive it just to see what that gearing felt like with that extremely short spacing, or rather extremely wide spacing and extremely short first gear, and it's interesting, that's for sure. Now I'm going to switch over to the test track, and we'll take the hot hatch for a spin. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. Now it's the turn of our hot hatch 89 with our turbo on it. This should actually be really fun to drive. And it has a limited slip diff as well, which I almost forgot. So We should get a kick out of this thing. Already I can tell it's a lot faster than the previous one. And that turn-in is so sharp. Oh, man. This is fun to drive. And it's genuinely pretty quick. Oh, look at how it kind of... Oh, it can three-wheel. Look at that. Oh, that's fun. Reminds me of the those like 80s hot hatches you used to see. Used to be able to do this. That's super cool. I love that it can go into tripod mode. That's really, really fun. Let's see what it'll get up to on the straights. It's a lot faster than the previous models. This is the first one. This is the first car that we've made that I think could be genuinely said to be a quick car. Although even though it's not, I mean, what was it? Just under 9 seconds, 0 to 60. It's not that quick. It still tops out at only about 100, 105 miles an hour going on that downhill straightaway there. But it's quick enough. Like I said, the idea here is not that it's like a super performance car. It's just something that anybody can afford and have a little bit of fun driving. And the handling of this car is actually phenomenal. I love it. I'm having a ton of fun chucking this thing around the test track and getting it up on 3 wheels. The tail will kick out a little bit under braking. It's a lot of fun to drive. I'm really, really liking this version of this car. This car's a lot more tail-happy than the previous version, or indeed any other car we've made, but on a front-wheel drive car, that's a really desirable thing. It helps you rotate around those corners a little bit easier. Let's see if I can handbrake turn around this corner here. Woo! That's fun. Woo! Yeah, this is a lot of fun to just use a dab of the handbrake, kick the tail out. And the tail actually rotates a little bit on its own, even under throttle or when you lift off a little bit. That's when the that wheel comes up. Oh, I just love that so much. I think this is definitely my favorite car that I've built on this Let's Play so far. It's just so much fun, and it's exciting yet forgiving and easy to drive. I'm really, really happy with this build, and it's still got that big box body on it, which has grown a lot on me. I find it kind of characterful. That is just about going to wrap it up for today's episode, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you'd like to see next. Next episode, I am thinking maybe we'll do a premium version of the Liberator 4. We are going to do a new model of it, and maybe we'll do a new model of the Mobilizer too. I'm not sure just yet. But in any case, let me know what feedback you have or what you'd like to see. I'm happy to hear it all. And thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.